Well, then that's the reason why I have to keep doing this poem, because while you're still here, I want to make sure you hear your name, not just get it called after you made that transition, but while you're still here, hear your name reverenced through libation. So, an elder is an ancestor in training. An elder is an ancestor in training. An angel not yet ordained, whose many years of pain has served for them as a rite of passage. Their badge of honor is called wisdom, knowledge that has been seasoned by the condiments of time. The grit and the grind of their experience is all spice. Salt and pepper may have grayed their hair, but ginger is shown up in their spirit. What they have to share with us is something spicy, sweet. An elder is an ancestor in training, trying to earn those wings. The many things they've been through have made them strong in ways the young are weak. Their life is a testimony. They have so much to share. The stories that they bear outvalue the finest diamond. An elder is an ancestor in training. Just as they teach, so do they learn and earn their place in that mighty cloud sitting right beside their mentors. It's on their shoulders that we stand, reaching higher as they inspire us to continue in their laid path. An elder is an ancestor in training. Their last days are that final exam. One day, the proctor will collect, and when graded, there will be no wrong answers. Upon their graduation, we'll show our appreciation for their inspiration by pouring libation. Our shades will resound to all ends of the earth. But why not pour libation now, while they're here to see it? Let them hear these shades on this side. Let those ancestors in training know we appreciate them now. Don't wait until the training is complete. Come on, call the name of a living elder. A living elder, a living elder that is an inspiration to you, and say Ashe. Yusef Crowder, Ashe. Ashe. All right, Ashe. All right, Ashe. Mama Virgie, Ashe. Ashe. Dr. Baruti, Ashe. Ya Baruti, Ashe. Happy birthday, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Ashe. Ashe, Akbar Imhotep, Ashe. Ashe, Mama Tamu, Ashe. Baba Hakima, Ashe. And for those others that don't roll off our tongues right now, let's just put it in the universe for them and say Ashe, Ashe, Ashe-o.
I don't want to say the meat of things, I guess into the veggie of things, I don't know. This is our first quarter community assembly, and we're going to be speaking about whether you are staying or whether you are going to leave. And the title is Black Power Moves, Sustainable Living in America and Beyond. So some of you know me, some of you don't. Some of the work that I've been doing has been around making sure that those on the continent, those that are across the entire diaspora, have a connection between those of us that are here and that are doing work to be self-sufficient and sustained through work with Mama Nobantu Ankwanda, through the African Community Sustainability Collective and the Black Sustainability Summit. We will be registering people. Actually, we already started registering people online. If you go to blacksustainabilitysummit.com, it is an online platform for you to connect with others around the globe that are self-sufficient and doing work. So I'm very honored to be here moderating this discussion with those who are going to give their backgrounds and share a little bit with you all. One of the things I want to make note of is that we have note cards. And I would like to get these note cards to you all in case you have a question that we're not able to answer within the time frame of the event tonight, but would like to introduce them, ask them a few questions, but then get the questions from you, because that's why you came out tonight. It's not a one-sided deal. All right? All right? Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to have each presenter give their name, the name of their organization, and then what it is that they are working on.
Hello,
My name is Dwight Spence. I'm a original Atlantan. My group is somewhat global. I have a company called SMS Marketing International, and what we are doing and I'm doing is doing marketing for other countries and other products around the world. We are importing and exporting. I do several other things, but that's one of the reasons I'm here today. I'm working with Panama. I work out of Panama sometimes, and I've been to Brazil. I just got back from China, and I think that everyone should have the opportunity and the vision to understand that if your Creator gave you the world, it's a shame for you not to check it out. And then, as I travel, I see a lot of Africans everywhere, but the world is not used to seeing African Americans. And we need to go, we need to pass this heritage on to our children and grandchildren, because their generation is going to be a global generation, and you have to prepare for that. And you need to just take the leap and jump, because it's okay to leave the plantation. Trust me, it's okay.
All right, greetings everybody. My name is Bomani. I'm originally from Kingston, Jamaica. I left and moved to Brooklyn, New York when I was 11 with my family. And from there, I lived in New York 7 years. And at 18, I escaped New York City and made it further south. After being in the military for about 5 years, I made a conscious move to want to build a straight black enterprise, and I realized it was time to take it back to the south. So I moved to the Atlanta area, more on the south side, about 15 years ago. And during that time, I connected with some good people to where I was able to really be joined into the energy of what we call, the conscious, or the community of people that are consciously connected to Africa or interested in that connection. So during that time, being down here, I had a great opportunity to travel to several African countries, Senegal, South Africa, Kenya, the Gambia, and eventually Ghana. And in 2006 was the birth of an era where I started taking it to a different level of wanting to connect our people to the African continent for the purpose of sustainable development, and also building an opportunity for us to connect with our people away from America and in more of an African-centered energy. So Ghana was that country that had all of the energy where we could build a program. So between December 2006 to October, November of 2016, I made 11 journeys to Ghana and taken about 230 different people, and the whole time that we've been doing these journeys, it was really to just build the momentum and connect our people with the process of, as far as it's getting organized here, using the best of the resources, and making a move to the African continent and connecting with your people, for this purpose of just straight nation building. And I realized that certain sound nice and simple in thoughts and theories, but at the same time too, I realized that this is the best plan for for our future, as far as this, us just really just building with a conscious energy of the African continent. So much of our great minds have been taken away. So the movements of people like myself and other people is more dedicated to connecting to Africa. So definitely want to talk with everybody more later, and hopefully we got a lot of questions so we can just really just find out where people's minds are as far as this making that conscious move to African continent. Yes, family. Also, organization is Africa for the Africans, tourism investment, and I have these yellow postcards, gold postcards in the back where you can take one up. And the website is africafortheafricans.org, and you'll find tons of information as far as tours, investment, and the process of repatriation.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Adeo T. Oguntoye, and I'm a member of the Shrine of Black Madonna here. And my purpose is really just to be an example of what is possible. And so I guess we'll kind of get into some things when we do the Q&A, but really just those of us who are in the room here today, we have the power to change the world. We have the power to change our reality. We don't need anything outside of the room. We have all the answers right here. We just have to have the will to do it.
So for the three of you, I guess the question would be, or kind of what I've taken from it is, are you all for staying or for repatriating? Going down the line, either staying or leaving?
I'm for exploring. You know, I think that life is a concept that does not mean that you have to live within one box forever. We are creative, spiritual beings designed to spread love, consciousness, and be the example of the greater possibilities. So it's just about exploring and utilizing your options. It's okay to leave, because wherever you live is where you are that day and that moment. You know, a lot of times I'm traveling, people saying, am I going to live in Panama? Wherever I am that day, that's where I live. You know, and Atlanta is my home. It's always available to come back to. But once you've been given dominion over the whole earth, the whole world, you know, that's your plan. You know, you can go and you can come and go. I got people that I know globally that live in one country for a year, then move to another. They're just constantly exploring and expanding, learning different languages as they go.
Excellent, well said. Let me see if I can add to that. Absolutely, the world that we live in is a great big world of a lot of options. And for myself, let me kind of just pinpoint directly. I'm for escaping America, just like I escaped New York City when I was 18. I realized that we do have a lot of options and access to certain things in America, so while we're here, the best thing I feel for us to do is to use the access to these resources to make a move to build something for our future in Africa. There's a village that we're going to in May 2017. It's called Benue Village. This is a sister who was born in Jamaica, and her family, she moved to England, and then she decided after even living in America to make a move to Ghana. And we have so many people there on the continent that's doing wonderful things, but the hardest thing is for them to do the things that they want to do without our support here. But most of the time, our resources are being put towards, keeping the status quo going, which is just maintaining our own oppression, for us to use most of our resources to give back to the system. So I'm always the one for using as much of those resources and contributing to the continent for the purpose of, when we talk about growth and development, and make sure we have institutions in place. And I think the more we can do that, the better and the faster it will grow. And the less we decide to do that, then the more the continent of Africa would have an outcry. And then, you would see more Asians and Europeans coming in and just doing things that we should be doing. So that's my long, drawn-out answer. Yes, let's escape America.
I guess the question, I want to kind of throw out a question to everybody. How many of you all were not born here in Georgia? Okay. When you all came to Georgia, was there a bit of transition in terms of the culture, the weather, the way people spoke? Okay. So when we talk about, moving to Africa, we're talking about a continent with cultures, varied languages, temperature differences. If you're talking about South Africa right now, it's summer. There's a lot of different things and research that we need to do before we talk about going anywhere. Even moving from the south side of Atlanta to the north side of Atlanta is a transition. Much less when we're talking about going to a place that we haven't been to in a while. My parents are both born in Nigeria, and when they go home, it is a transition for them. Just because things change. If you've just been in Atlanta, you leave Atlanta for 2 years and you come back, you notice things have changed. You know, prices have gone up. Some stores that you used to go aren't there anymore. Some people are not there anymore. So when we're talking about moving to a different continent, have we built those relationships? Because we're talking about going to a different community. What is our purpose for going? Are we going because we want to escape, as my brother said? Are we going because we want to build? Are we going because we want to integrate? And then when we get there, we may be surprised to see the things we're escaping from are there, and they beat us there. So you might see, the only white person you might see might be a picture of Jesus. And you might be like, oh, you might get called a white person because you don't speak the language. So those are things that you have to be ready for. So when we're talking about moving or transitioning in any way, we have to be prepared for those different things we may encounter. So my suggestion, my feedback would be for us to be prepared for anything that we do. So whether we're talking about moving or staying, we got to get prepared.
I think everybody had very great responses, honest truth, and honest to themselves. I think I looked at Baba Amos Wilson's blueprint for Black Power and put it and kind of juxtaposed it to the destruction of a black civilization, and looked at the building a nation within a nation, and then also taking it upon myself, like you said, to travel and go to these various countries. Now, it may not have been wise to go by myself, but so many people decide, oh, I want to go and I don't want to go, and they don't make a decision, and then going for yourself to explore and to see and fill out the culture, it's very the same. And if you don't know the language, you don't understand how to communicate with people, understanding the rituals and the cultures that are already there, as well as the exposure to Western civilization, you can also be a little bit off-put at different times if you're not prepared for it. So I think it's beautiful that we have somebody up here that is taking people on tours to give them some exposure before you make a decision if you decide to stay or if you decide to actually leave. So I think it's beautiful that you all are talking about exploring. In this sustainable living, whether you're here or abroad, I'd like to get you all to kind of define what sustainable means for you, because so many people can have different definitions of what sustainability means. Whether that's, you know, can I do for myself? Is it just self-sufficiency? Is it holistic? Would you all define kind of sustainability for you? And then we're going to get into some questions, a little bit deeper questions around the work that you all have.
I think sustainability to me means being able to survive, support yourself, to understand how to utilize the services and to be a part of the community that will allow you to be self-sufficient and understand how to maximize the opportunities in each particular country or community.
Excellent. Now my reference to sustainability, I'm going to base it on a village that we have in Ghana, in the middle of the country, in Techiman in the Bronghafa region. Now, to really just get a feel of sustainability, you're looking at that you're in the middle of an agricultural part of the country, Ghana. So sustainability is going to be able to live in nature, live off the land. Sustainability is for you to be able to just get away from the grid, meaning your water system is a water system that you're going to build using methods that catch water. Your electricity, solar, wind, your sewer system, things you're going to build in place, organic farming, aspects of permaculture, to where you can just really just live off the land and use it in a way where you're not destroying nature or going against nature. So that's my definition, this living in harmony with nature.
I think Brother Ross Kofi actually kind of gave my definition of sustainability. And it's really just the ability to live forever. And we do that for our children and our children's children. So if we're not passing down information, if we're not passing down skills, if we're not passing down culture, then we're not being sustainable. If we are GMO, you know, if we don't have seeds, then it's kind of difficult for us to be sustainable. So we need to be living in harmony with the earth, as my brother said right here. But you know, in all aspects of it, it's really just kind of passing information from one generation to the next.
So I have plenty of questions that I had for each one of the presenters, but I did want to find out some of the reasons why those in the audience actually came. What are some of the things that you all are looking for? If you have questions at this time for the presenters, let me know. Otherwise, I can go ahead. You don't have to be shy. What brought you out? What interested you? Nobody? Oh.
So, what interested me was the idea of staying leading. So, that you all are, you said that you want to explore, that you're ready to leave. For those who are staying or leaving, how can we ensure we don't repeat the same system? If we understand the system, first of all, that we don't repeat that same system of economic control. But how do we ensure that before making that kind of decision?
Very good question. Anybody want to take it?
I think I'll take a stab at it. I think there's always the battle between using the oppressor's tools to dismantle the system versus acknowledging the resources that are here or that are anywhere and using them. I think it is important that as we are here right now, that we start building coalitions and building community. Because if we can't do it here and we expect to go someplace else and do it, I think we've missed it. You know, we can't see the brother and the sister next to us and understand that they have value and they have worth, whether their hair is permed or straightened, whether their skin is light or dark. Then when we go to the continent, we're going to replicate those same things. And I think the other thing is just to recognize that, you know, as I said before, a lot of things that we are trying to leave here is already over there. I mean, you know, from the skin bleaching to the, you know, speaking the language of the oppressor. And so when we go there and we talk about black power, they're going to be like, what are you talking about? You know, there's no, you know, some of the phrases and things that we have to use over here to describe ourselves, they wouldn't have to use over there because, you know, you're on the continent, so you don't have to say that you're an African because, you know, you have kind of this, I'm going to use the word tribal, but not in the pejorative way. So, you know, I might be South African first, or I might be, you know, from Zim first, or, you know, as opposed to the unity that we seek over here. So just recognizing that a lot of things that we are trying to fight, it's already there. And so we have to get it here, and then we have to get it here with each other, and then we can take that. Because a group of 10 of us can go over there and actually change if we're together. So we got to get together here.
I have a question. Yes, I'm going to let him answer this next question, and I'll continue.
Thanks, my brother. I like that. That was I like that perspective. I wanted to add to that also. Yes, it's one of the most important things. We do have to have clarity, and that's why people like myself are available. I spend my time throughout the year just being available for anyone that you want to talk or call about repatriation and these things that you know we should have already had organized maybe 50 to 100 years ago.
That's right.
But it's, you know, I think we definitely still have to keep working at it. But also we have to realize that there's some of us that are ready to make these moves, and unfortunately we can't wait for everybody else. And so I'm always down to connect with the people that are ready. Our phone line is always ready. I'm just ready for the last 12 straight years. And for those of us who have been ready, we have been able to get a few things accomplished on the African continent. For the first time in history, I know at least several of my brothers and sisters that were born in the Caribbean and born in America that have attained Ghanaian citizenship. So that was something I swear I thought that would never happen in our lifetime, because when I first came in, and I was trying to find out what are the issues as far as what do we need to fix, as far as those of us from the African diaspora that have made a move to the African continent. We do realize that we're small in numbers, that people are living there. And I myself try to be the person in the middle to connect with people that are ready, you know, just like You know, just like Harriet Tubman, you know, the people that were ready, she took, and the people that stayed, they stayed, and they just had to work on getting that figured out. So I want us to look at it from a different perspective. You know, if you're ready, connect with those of us that are ready. If you're not ready, just work on organizing, and then also, you do have many aspects of what you can do as far as communal living in America, which is very popular. Further out of the main metro cities, you have people organizing, coming together and living sustainably, and also creating communities. And that's perfect because when you do go to the African continent, you have those things down packed. And that's why I'm always telling people that the people with the skills that have certain access to things that they can do, I'm always open to looking and connecting. For the people who are just, you know, you just don't have it together, you know, you'd save a lot of us our time by just referring people that are ready. And then the people that are making moves, you know, you can kind of just follow the structure of things. That way it's a continuous movement and not just us sitting around waiting to get, you know, unorganized people to make moves to the African continent that are not ready. And I'm happy that I made my move, even when it was my first time getting ready to go to Ghana, and I was trying to recruit people that, and I was telling them honestly, I've never been there before, but I've set this business up and I made things organized. And once they started looking at it, they were like, all right, that's perfect. And people started sending their money in. And the first time I went to Ghana, it was 8 of us, December 2006. The next year I went, October 2007. It was 42 of us. And the only reason that happened is because I proved to people that I was organized and I can take the responsibility. And, you know, so just sharing multiple perspectives so we can look at things in a broad scope.
One of the things that he just mentioned was to be organized, to be open and receptive, because you are going into another country that has different concepts and thoughts. But what we as African Americans bring to the table is a higher level, another level of organizational skills, another level of understanding capitalism, the good as well as the bad, understanding that we must have a sustainable lifestyle, appreciating and loving nature is our original African roots come from. You know, the first civilizations and the first building of those civilizations started in Africa, and they just spread through Europe as people found out about us and came to conquer or came to take advantage of it. We have the opportunity to spread those same seeds again, but you have to prepare yourself. You have skill sets that you don't even know because you have not maximized and used them. When you go to any other country, you will always find that Africans are rooted there, whether it be in one dish that everybody in that country is aware has African origination, or whether it is in the drum. Slavery did many things. It took Africans all around the world. To me, I redefine the definition of slavery to understand it was the seeding of the world with African culture. It was the seeding of all those countries to the indigenous people that were there to show them that there is a humanity, that you are free. You deserve to be in your own person, your own culture, your own language, and you do not have to assimilate to any colonization that has occurred. So you redefine a lot of things. You redefine capitalism. We have to have an economic structure. Wherever you go, sustainable, you're going to have economic structure. But as you redefine capitalism, you redefine the definition of profit. You redefine and utilize your true love of life, community, and family.
I'd like to add to that as well. In your question where you said ensuring that we don't repeat the same things that we've been indoctrinated with and that comes to us from birth, just made within this system. I think my brother Obada de Cambo said it best across the seas in Ghana, where he talked about de-whitenization and understanding that the study of yourself and your culture in order for you to better understand who you were prior to enslavement, not just tapping into this neo-colonialism that's there and going and saying, oh, well, you know, the people that are here are not what I expected. There's no, you know, elder sitting underneath the tree to receive me, to give me all this knowledge, but it stays within the language that oftentimes we go and we want to continue speaking the language that we are coming from.
That's right.
So we must also understand the language in order to understand the culture. And I think that comes through a thorough study and also exploration of other places and spaces. I've been to South America, I've been to the continent, in the Caribbean, and I've seen so many different groups of those that have either repatriated or that have been there from time in and still speak a Kikongo-based language that have held firm. Whether they told me I couldn't stay because I wasn't married to somebody there and I wasn't born there, so I have to leave before the sun goes down. I still respected it because they were able to preserve their culture, and I can do nothing but pay homage to that. But they were able to do it by passing it on. So I think it also comes from a lot of self-study and also making sure that we are assets no matter where we go, because we have so many skills that we possess. Instead of just going and trying to drop, we need to be bringing things with us so that we can contribute to the society in which we're looking to integrate. So that's my input. I wanted to take the sister's question.
I think you guys pretty much answered my question, particularly where the sister was saying what we can ensure that we don't fall back to the same situation. I also like the brother on the end that spoke about doing what we need to do here before we can think about going abroad. I love the national anthem, marching on until victory is won. But what are we going to do while we're marching? What is the first step? What is the first step to being sustainable while we are here? How do we get property? How can we go in and hold on to what we currently have? There are people who feel like something is coming. And I can't say something is coming or something is not coming. At the same time, they are preparing for what they think is coming. You have people who are prepping for what they think is coming. They're collecting food. They're learning how to live off the land. They're not just speaking about it. They're literally learning how to eat meat. Literally. They're literally growing their own food. Literally. They're literally walking every day, getting their weight down. Learning combat. So my question is, what are we doing while we are marching, while we are meeting together and getting a plan? What is the next step? What is the date set for the next step? Where do we go from here?
Thank you. Great question. It is an excellent question.
It's a excellent question, and I hope I can just get a portion of it right. But as we are talking about sustainability, I think the first step is sustainability and understanding your food system. Being able to grow and understand your body and to heal itself. Start growing little herbs in your kitchen or something, but start to understand that you may have to be and understand more about your whole nutritional system and your food system. So you start to grow. Another aspect I feel is in preparation is to learn another language. When you see that Africans leave Africa and they go to other countries because of war, because of whatever reasons, the thing that I find is that their brains are wired a special way, because in their community they have to learn multiple languages just to stay. Like in Atlanta, you got to learn the language for Decatur. You got to learn the language for Conyers. You got to learn the language for Macon, you know? So in Africa, their brains are wired because they understand how to associate, assimilate languages. So if you're going to stay here or not, the first thing you need to learn is Spanish. Once you learn Spanish, that will give you access to Latin America, South America, and parts of Europe. But it starts to rewire the brain to understand how to learn other languages. You know, you can go to the Caribbean. I was in Aruba in the early 80s, and a young lady was 18 years old, coming out of high school, and she said, Mr. Spence, where should I go to school? Should I go to Holland? Should I go to Europe? Should I go to the U.S.? She had those options available because she spoke 5 different languages. So when we talk about preparation, from this point, learn you another language. If you're not ready to learn the language, go learn how to sauce. Once you understand the rhythm of a people, you will feel more understanding for that people, and I think understanding the language will come a little bit easier. Sustainability, your food system, your water systems are a must, no matter where you go. Even if you stay here, take control of your food, your nutrition, and your health, okay?
Excellent. Add to that. The next step I'll look at are some of the basics, training, us learning different methods of survival skills and business skills or technical skills. All of the different things that you contribute to running and upholding or maintaining the nation. It's like one of those dreams you just wake up one day and then there's no white people around, you know. And so you'd have to figure out what we're going to do now, as far as, you know, we're just going to, you know, are we going to do like, you know, countries like Jamaica to say that we're going to run a country efficiently or fall apart, or, you know, we're at the point now where other people are just not really in our way as we think, and it's just up to us to just use all the methods that we need to run our own world, our own environment. So I would say training, skill-based, and also just you know, becoming more social and reaching out to your other brothers and sisters in other parts of the world. That's one of the biggest issue is, you know, we're so segregated in different parts of the world. We're all about ourselves. So that's what the incredible opportunity of travel does. So if you can get some traveling in between, you get a chance to go to countries where you can just now make it an option. Like on our itinerary, we have countries like Ghana, Brazil, right, Togo, and Benin. That's right. So that's a good start. But there's many different places you can start, and some of us have better options to start than others.
I think I would say that the main thing that we need to do, the first step, I don't know what sister is, but to me the first step, and it may sound, well, let me not say what it may sound like, but the first step is for us to love ourselves. First step is for us to love ourselves. When you love yourself, you accept certain things, and you don't accept certain things. Right. When you love yourself, you will allow certain things to happen to you, and you will not allow certain things to happen to you. So that is the first step. A lot of us have been taught to hate ourselves, to hate our skin, to hate the way that we talk, to hate the way that we think. Love yourself. There was no mistake when the Creator made you. And when we get to that realization, then we can truly love our neighbors. Because you know it says in the Word, it says, love your neighbor as yourself. That presupposes that we love ourselves. Because we can't love our neighbor if we don't love ourselves. Because they are nothing but a reflection of us. So once we learn to love ourselves, we have fought and won the battle. And then we can kind of get like-minded people together and get a community together. But it's hard to form a community when you got people in that community that don't love themselves. Because I can kill someone else in that community if I don't love myself. Because I don't value anything. So our children have it right. When they come out of the womb, they are perfect. And they love themselves. We teach them not to love themselves. So we got to stop doing that by being that example ourselves.
I would say one thing I didn't hear someone mention, and I think for people to add to what you're saying, is first you got to have your passport before you do anything. Like you have to have a passport. Like if you don't have a passport, you're not going to be able to go anywhere.
Yeah,
Secondly,
secondly,
but I think it's like, I think if we're going, whether we're staying or we're going, like it should be like a part of a program that's already established to visit before you just like jump. Because some people may be ready to jump and say, I could just go cold turkey. But it may be wise to go visit that place, get familiar with the culture, get familiar with the language, get familiar with the food before you just say, yeah, I'm gone. And then you go there and then you're like, well, I'm coming back because this is not working for me. But I think everything that you're saying is right on, but I just didn't hear anyone ask or inquire, like, the steps to start is, like, you need to learn it first. You can't just, some people are equipped to go cold turkey. Some people need guidance doing this kind of a transition. But I think your passport and having a guide, you know, in either way would kind of assist.
I think, well, I'll let you all respond because I was going to give a plug about that.
Okay. One word on that too. He is absolutely correct. You have to have your passport, and you have to make sure that you keep everything in order. For the simple reason that if things go really crazy, the first thing they're going to do is start putting limitations on how you get your passport to make sure that you cannot leave. Okay? They've got it now where your passport is the only way you can even go across the border to Canada or Mexico or even take a cruise when it used to be just your driver's license. That's right, you're right. So there will be limitations as you move forward. They're going to call it immigration control. They're going to call it something, but you have to be prepared. So the sooner you get it is the best thing to do, and you just have to prepare yourself. And he was mentioning going cold turkey to these countries. I do not agree to go cold turkey. I think you need to do a lot of research here. But first, in every country, the whole world is available to you. You need to just start going to visit. You know, I'm talking about a 2-day trip, a 5-day trip, a week trip. Take a cruise and get off to do the 1-day trip, you know. But you have to go to these other countries just to visit, to feel the vibration. As I do Panama and other places, people say, well, what am I doing there? You have to go yourself and let the country speak to you. Your spirit has to be touched by something in that country so you can expand it. Don't go with your mind made up on certain things. Go being open and receptive.
I should.
And just as far as the passport and the birth of this, getting this stuff together, that's absolutely what you want to get. I worked at for Delta Airlines for several years, and it was an unbelievable amount of brothers and sisters who didn't have passport, to where I made it my personal mission to be a part of that energy of just encouraging our people to get passport for the purpose of just many things. And one of the things is this economic opportunity. It's one of those things, if let's say tomorrow I can get 10 people to go to a portion of Africa and set certain things up for them, but you just have to have your passport ready. Some people would just literally need 2 months to get that ready. They wouldn't be ready. So, you know, and also, yeah, as time change, the passport becomes more expensive and many things. And, you know, the passport, unfortunately, it is a way for America to track everyone in their movement. But it's what it is. It's no escaping our cell phones and everything. People can, or behind certain controls, can watch us, watch what we're doing. So being scared and things like that, it don't make any sense now. So the best thing for us to really do is just get these things in place. If you can't get a passport because of certain things, you'll always have the option of fixing whatever is the issue for the passport. But that's, you know, it's one of those conversations where that's, you know, you have to get that to get into the game. And it's a good thing that, you know, while you're in America, unless you just really have a terrible record, you know, you can get access to a passport one way or another.
I wanted to add one thing to the sister's question, and I'm a very practical person and give some actual resources too that she could lend to. Then I'm going to go here, and then there for the questions. As far as the food growth goes, I think a lot of times if you're going to stay here, if you make that decision, regardless if you're going to explore and travel abroad and test it out, you can also volunteer. We have many different farmers that live just right here within this vicinity, and they need assistance on their farms. That's something that you can do tomorrow. They definitely need that support, and if you're not the person to go out and learn how to grow or practice that or volunteer with them, you also you can be very intentional when you're going to our brothers and sisters that are vendors or that have restaurants, and ask them, where have you sourced your produce from? Because these local farmers also need that type of support. That's also holding each other accountable, and those are some of the things that we don't do. You have Truly Living Well around the corner. Who else do we have? We've got You have True Living Well, you have Gillian Farms, you have Mama Haleen Green right across the street. So you can support the growers, and you can set a date in your home to go ahead and start practicing growing some of your food. If you're looking to learn more about language, there is a phenomenal site called Abibi Tumikasa. I can get that to you when you leave, the spelling of it. And in Kala Environmental, they offer classes online for you to do, for you to learn different languages on the African continent. I take some classes on Sundays, and as a part of the system, we worked out some bartering, but have been learning 2 different traditional languages or indigenous languages. And if you're looking to develop some of your skills, there's a site called Nkala Environmental where you can learn African engineering, architecture, and you can sign your children up to take classes that are also good matches for them, and I can get you all information on that. This is all on that same site I mentioned earlier, the Black Sustainability Summit, so it's one place and space where you can get that information. But if you're interested in a particular lane, I thought I would also share that with you. And if your children are of age to be online and to learn with brothers and sisters that can, that can also empower them. I need to get some water. That can also empower them. It's a space called Fahodi Yeshua that's led by Sister Njideka. I can get you the spelling as well. But just let me know what lane it is that you're interested in and hook you up with them. If you're interested in military training, you have the Asapo Gun Club. They do trainings on survival. You go outside, you learn what foods you can eat, what you can pick off of the ground. It's here in Atlanta. It also goes through the safety around your weapons. It goes through the safety around your home. It goes through things that you can do if you're not interested in utilizing weapons, but how you can also think about the protection of your family as a man and as a woman, particularly those sisters that no longer have the men in the home. And then for study groups and other trainings, I'm happy to give out that information before you all leave. So that was just my little point of information, just to give people some practical ties as far as who they can connect with. So I'm going to the brother here in the jacket with your question. Go ahead.
I was just camelbacking up for the passport statement. First, I wanted to say thank you. Oh, y'all can hear me over there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, no problem. I just wanted to say, first and foremost, instead of choosing one, I feel like we should choose to be one. You know, everybody keeps trying to choose one organization or one idea. It's one nation under God, indivisible, liberty. You got French, you got Spanish, you got Italian. We should be able to do the same thing. That's number one. And on that note, I know the UNIA, they speak of the government. They say they have a passport, constitution, different things like that. If any of us here, don't know about it or know about it, we need to kind of connect if there's any holes that need to be, fixed, so that we can officialize it to the point where we go through that channel of having passports. And those passports, where as he said, we know they're going to track, they're going to use it for tracking and so on and so forth. Well, if we have our own avenue for passports, that's respected, finding a way of having it respected across the board throughout the nations, that we can utilize those passports or those ways of, tracking ourselves. And we can have ourselves be the trackers or whatever, for the purpose of security as opposed to control. Right. So that was just something I wanted to camelback on the passport.
Yes. Do you all mind forgiving me? I had a young man come up and give me a question, and I completely overlooked it because I was taking notes. So I want to read his question and then take this one and then go through it. Is that all right? Okay. What are the thoughts surrounding the idea of Africans in America taking over or overpopulating states in the South and eventually claiming sovereignty? I had a young brother come give me the note card.
I was thinking the same thing earlier too. I was telling somebody that same thing too.
Okay.
I mean, this is where a majority of the stolen Africans was taken. So hey, what's perfect, what better uprising than just to genetically dominate, just make children and make accountability. And, you know, so there's many ways I feel we can do this thing. But that is a great idea. Dominate the South.
Well, we definitely.
We're already here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bring family over, that's it.
I think you found out who submitted the question.
And
Oh, we have.
No, I just wanted to say, it's what I've been in it for a while, just looking at everything, and to me, I'm like, what is it? We have like you just stated on this Black sustainability, we have everything we need, like everything. It's just, we are in our own way or something. Everything we do.
But many people are pulling us different directions. Like, I'm the one that's like, Africa, Africa. Other people like, let's do something here. So, you know, but we think we can just make it all work. It's no one or the other.
And I think it comes down to having a solid timeline too, like the sister said, setting your dates. If you know you're not leaving tomorrow and you're doing something here, set that and always keep that in the forefront. Set the date to take the trip with you. But in the interim, continue doing your work, continue supporting others that are doing that work. If you have land here, let me invest in you and let me exchange the dollar that I know I'm going to work hard for and reinvest that into something that you're doing so that you can sustain yourself even after I remove myself. I'm going to go to taking this Baba's question here.
Yeah, my name is Brother Gabriel. I've had the blessing of living in Ghana for many, many years.
How many years, brother?
20.
Wow!
I just came back about a year ago, a year and a half ago. And what I wanted to share with you is that the main thing I learned from living over there, the main experience that people should be aware of is that living in Africa for a long period of time is a lot different from visiting. And the main difference is, as you go, the longer you stay, the more you become Africanized.
Teach, brother.
You become, you can reach a point where you fit in so well there that they don't even know that you're a foreigner.
Teach.
Even now, you see how light I am, but I convinced them that I was born there. Some of them believed I was from Nigeria or some other, I was in Ghana, but they thought I was from another country. But when I went there in the beginning, everybody knew I was a foreigner. But as the time passed, I was fitting in more and more. So the main thing I found is a healing experience. People who live there a long time, for long periods of time, all talk about how they've been transformed personally and elevated personally just living there. Because here's the reason why. There's two things. The energies on the continent are different from the energies here, and they're a healing energy. So the whole place is like a sanitarium. It's to the point where you can take a brother here who's got mental issues. If you leave him in Africa for about 2 or 3 years, I guarantee you, when the next time you see him, he'll be much more together than when you saw him before. That's how it is. Okay, and so I wanted to share that we need to have that experience of feeling those energies. The other part that's healing is you're in the midst of pure Black Africans who have their original mind that has been, it's been tampered with a bit by the Christianity, but basically they have their original mind, something we've been denied, and their original spirit. So when you be around them and nobody else for years, it's a healing just being in their midst, because they're showing you how they organize their work, their lives, how the family interrelates with each other. So much is learned from being around them. So I encourage everyone, if you have an opportunity, to spend some time in Africa. You will love it.
Thank you very much, my brother.
But the last thing I have a question. The big problem over there is the governments, because all of them are basically under American control. And so what they want and what America wants is for us to stay about 3 to 6 months at the most. And they wanted to, they wanted to be more like a visiting type experience. And the government is right there with them. They do not want us to stay longer than 3 to 6 months. So what it ends up with is a lot of people who are there illegally, like the Rasta man. He's saying, look, I'm home, I'm not going anywhere. And so he's over there living long term, and the key is he can't go back to his country because they're waiting for him at the airport to ask him for the money that he owes. So I'm asking the question that, has anyone found a country that is more receptive to African American, let's say, settlement than the one I'm familiar with? I have never found a country that seemed to be more receptive to us staying there than any other. And has anyone found a good place for that?
Yes, Gabriel, I appreciate your energy, and it seemed like right after you left Ghana, they started giving Ghanaian citizenship. So I'm sure if you go back, they'll give it to you, and you can stay forever. But that's unfortunate. What you mentioned, that's one of the things that has happened over a period of time. But fortunately, I have people that didn't have to do those things. But yeah, so it is important that you just follow the procedures to get your paperwork right, do your residency paperwork, and then now that you're flexible for citizenship in countries like Ghana, you can move forward and apply for it. But you do have a limited amount of countries that are receptive for us staying longer than a few months, because America does have embassy all along West Africa and probably other countries, and the African countries tend to follow the policies of American countries, except for maybe 1 or 2 African countries. So yeah, Zimbabwe, one of the few in other countries, but nevertheless, it's something that it takes us, us participating in to change certain things, and Amicus and the elders that led the movement for us to get citizenship, and it's just those are the things that we just have to keep on doing. That way, you don't have to go through the same problems like our elders. So it takes people like myself and our elders before me that have made those moves to Ghana to really clear the battlefield for everybody to come. And it's a rough journey, but we do need people to step up. And I do believe the better we can do that, the better we can have a clear-cut direction on which moves to make.
You're all pioneers, brother. Appreciate y'all. That's another brother who's been to the continent, lived there.
Are you going to make a comment on this, though?
Oh, I wanted to continue what the brother was talking about.
Please.
Okay, please.
I went to Africa in 1976. The doctors had told me I had 2 years to live. But I went to Africa and...
Can you specify the country? Can you specify the country?
First I went to Senegal, then I went to Gambia and worked with Bomani, a band in Banjul. Then I went to Mali, then to Burkina Faso and Ouagadougou, and down to Ghana, and from Ghana to the Ivory Coast, and then back to Ghana. I spent 13 years there in Africa.
Go ahead.
And like the brother was saying, after you've been there for a while, it's a healing place. And the greatest healing for me was one day I was in Ghana, and